Hello and welcome as we continue with this Microsoft Project Fundamentals course. In this module, I'm going to show you how to create a new project plan in MS Project. A project plan or a project schedule is a model that we create that contains key aspects of the project. Firstly, it contains the tasks that need to be performed. In other words, the various activities that need to be carried out from beginning up to the end of the project. It also has the time frames within which each activity must be carried out. In other words, we need to specify the start date and finish date for each task or activity. Then further, we need to specify the resources that are going to work or that are going to be used on each task. When we mention resources, there are basically three types. There are what we call work resources. So these are basically the people that are going to work on the project, as well as equipment that is used on the project. So work resources can be measured in terms of their availability, in terms of the rate at which they work on a project. For example, a person can work for 8 hours a day on a project. The same thing with a machine, it can be available for a certain number of hours per day or per week. Then you've got cost resources, which represent certain financial items that you want to be accounted for on a project. Like, for example, if there are traveling expenses that need to be accounted for, we put them under cost resources. Then we have material resources. So material resources are the items that are consumed during the execution of a project. So when we do a construction project, for example, we need to pour concrete into the foundation. So concrete is a material resource. So are the bricks as well as the roofing materials. For the purpose of this course, we are going to create and develop a plan for a project to construct a house. This is because every person stays in a house, so we can all relate to such a project. Firstly, we are going to create a new project by going to the File tab. So you click on the File tab and then you select New. It now gives us the option to create a blank project, or if you have got templates on your system, or if you're connected to Microsoft Online, you can then utilize some of the templates that are available online. During this course, we are going to be creating a blank project. So I'm going to double click on blank project. Immediately, I am going to save it and give it a name that is appropriate to me. So what you need to do is go to File and you say Save As. Then you locate on your computer the folder where you want to save this project. In my case, I want to put it in My Documents. And I call it Tendayi. So you are going to give your full name followed by house project. So this is how I'm going to know which file belongs to who. So your file name is going to be your full name followed by house project. Because from time to time, you are going to be requested to upload your project. So now I can say save. So once again, you go to File Then you say save as. You look for the location where you want to save your file, and then you give it the name, which is your full name and house project. Then you click on save. So because I saved already, it is asking me if I want to overwrite. So now you can see that the name of the file now shows in the title bar. Whenever you create a new project, the program is going to assume a start date, which is the current date, and then in the Gantt chart view, it will show you a green vertical line on the date, which is today's date. But if you do not want your project to start today, you can change the start date by going to the project information. So you click on the project tab. Then you look for the properties group. Remember the first session that we did, I was teaching you about the user interface, about this ribbon and the various tabs. Then we said on each tab we have got groups, which are basically groups of commands that are related to each other. So since we want to change project information, we go on the project tab, then we look for the properties group. Then within the properties group, that is where we find project information. So you click on project information. So to change the date, you can either type it in or simply click on this filter arrow and then select from the calendar. So let's say I want to start my project on the following Monday. So I simply click on the 12th and I say OK. You can now see that it changes the start date, and it now puts another dotted line on the new date that I've chosen. So the green line is showing you where we are today, and then this dotted line now shows you the new start date. When we create a new project, we need to know either the start date or the finish date of the project. Then the program will calculate the other date based on the activities or on the tasks that we enter. Say, for example, we know when the project must start. So we put the date of 12th of October. Then we add activities that last for 10 days. The program will now calculate a finish date, which is the start date plus the number of days or the duration of the activities. Then it will automatically give us an end date of the 22nd of October. But if we have a deadline in mind, say for example we want this project to end on the 31st of December, that is our deadline. So we specify the end date. Then as we enter the activities, the program will calculate backwards and tell us the date when we need to start, or rather the latest date that we need to start in order to meet that deadline of the 31st of December. I'm now going to show you a couple of tips that are useful when you're working in Microsoft Project. I showed you earlier how we can change the project start date by going to the project information, under project, in the properties group, and then you click on project information to bring the project information dialog box. We can set up MS Project so that the moment we create a new project, it automatically takes us here. So in other words, you do not need to follow the procedure again of going to project information. So we can make the program to automatically come here the moment we create a new project. So we do this by going to the options under the file tab. So you click on file and then you go to options. You look for advanced. Then on the general section, the second option says prompt for project info for new projects. So at the moment it's not selected, so we are going to select, so that the moment we create a new project, it is going to prompt us to enter project information. So click OK, and then we go to file as if we want to create a new project. So you click on new, then blank project. So the moment you click on blank project, it now takes you to the project information, so that you set the start date at the time that you are creating the new project. So we are going to be going many times to the project options so that we can set the way that MS Project behaves when you are working with it. So for now, we have just told it to automatically open up the project information dialog box each time that we create a new project. Then from time to time, you need to save your project, because if you work for a long time, then your computer switches off and you have not saved, you can lose a lot of work. So we can tell Microsoft Project to save our project automatically at certain intervals. So we go back to the options on the file tab, then options, then you look for the save tab. Then on the save tab, it now says auto save every so many minutes. So at the moment the auto save is not selected, so I'm going to select it, and then I tell it to auto save every 5 minutes. So you can either just type in the number, or you can use this up and down arrows to select the number of minutes that you want. So what it means is that every 5 minutes the system is going to automatically save my work. So I click OK. Then I go back to my project. So in this module, we have seen how to create a new project. We gave it a name and we chose the location where to save it. I've also shown you how to change the project information so that we can specify either the start date or the finish date of the project. So we are going to be coming back here from time to time to set certain parameters or to check the status of this project. I also showed you how to use the options on the file tab. So you can come to this options screen and navigate through all the different menus, you'll discover that there are quite a lot of things that you can set up here to make your work very easy. The next module is going to be on setting up the calendars, because we need to be able to set up our work calendar before we start putting in our tasks or activities. So the calendar is going to specify the working days in a week, as well as the various holidays, and also the working times, whether it's from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or it's 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We specify that within the calendars. So that is going to be in the next module. So by the time you come to the next module, make sure that you have created your project and given it a name, which is your full name plus house project. So I see you in the next module.